Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for another episode of Chief Artisan Thursday. This time, I'm in the studio with.
Otto Rascon, photography.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening, Otto. And I want to introduce you to our TOC Town people. So, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we're going to let them know more about you.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it. Um, my name is Otto Rascon, and I am a wedding and family portrait photographer. Used to live in Chicago, but now I live in Joliet. But I love being around people and love photographing, people's special moments.
Yeah, actually, if our listeners have been on Facebook, I actually got to use the infamous moment on my banner. So that was Otto who actually took that wonderful moment. That picture, I call it the $1 million shot because literally it's perfect for a lot of what we do as small business owners in our community. So let's get to know you a little bit better. You are a small business owner. How long have you been doing photography, and what's your professional, creative kind of? How do you approach it?
Alrighty. Well, I've been shooting weddings now. Actually, I photographed my father's wedding. He remarried in Mexico about, coming up on over 9 years now. So that was really kind of what started it. And after that, I kind of got the bug, as they say, and started doing, started advertising just through friends, really. Just, hey, I do weddings, and it kind of just took off from there.
So
You know
it's
what?
pretty much word of mouth.
Yeah, and ever since then, it's pretty much been word of mouth. I've tried some advertising, but at the end I just figured and found, I should say, that the return on investment just wasn't there. Advertising tends to cast a wide net, and you don't know who's listening, who's watching, who's paying attention, and you get all kinds of weird requests. So I'm like, I don't like this. So word of mouth definitely is the best way for me to build up the business.
Yeah, that's true because me having I briefly know you, but you are a dad, so I know the protective instincts take over immediately once you get the weird signal like you don't like this.
Yeah.
you know but one thing I do want to know from you, a lot of the people that I interviewed who are fathers, I want to know what's your motivation for definitely starting a small business as well as keeping it going. Like it's Monday morning, let's say you have an appointment and you're not at all feeling it. The weekend wasn't that great. It rained all over your promos and what you were doing. Something got stolen.
Uh-huh.
What is your go-to place for motivation?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. Uh, yeah, everything I have to keep thinking that the thing that keeps motivating me, honestly, is I love photography. I love serving people in that way. I feel like when I'm taking pictures and I'm around people, my clients, I'm a better version of myself in a sense. I'm doing something creative. I'm answering questions. I'm serving. I'm providing a great experience and later great photographs to my clients. I feel alive. So that definitely is what helps me kind of get up, answer those emails, answer those phone calls, blog this or answer another question, go, meet with a vendor on a snowy morning where I'd rather stay home and be with my daughters and my wife. But that's kind of what always I end up going, like, this is another opportunity for me to have fun, for me to serve, for me to give, and for me to, to do what I love.
Now, take us through a scenario. Do you have your favorite, like, this could be like for the rest of my life, or you know what? I think I want to quit tomorrow. Do you have a favorite moment, maybe a creative moment you want to walk us through? This is for younger, or even older, young business owners who want to start in photography. Take them through a scenario of, you know what, this is pretty much my worst moment, but you picked it back up and said, we got to keep going here.
Oh, okay. All right. My worst moment, I have to say, it's been really cool that I've had just a ton of great clients. And that's why I think it's important to meet with your clients before you book them, because you want to make sure you're a good fit for them. and that you're a good fit for them, and vice versa, I should say. Um, but I've been very fortunate to have awesome clients. But one of the worst moments happened about maybe 4 years ago, where I photographed the wedding, and I downloaded them to my computer, and my computer crashed. So
Ew.
I thought I had lost the wedding. I That's probably the worst. That's probably the worst I've ever felt in my entire life.
I think
Uh,
even the brides who are listening are cringing because they know.
yeah, and this was, yeah, this was, gosh, this was, we were still in Chicago, so this was well over 5 years ago, and I backed it up on some hard drives, and I should say those hard drives crashed. But unfortunately, I was able to find them, and everything was restored. And but that definitely was awful. And I mean, but
Phew.
the good thing is that you learn from all your mistakes. And I thought I was doing the right thing by backing them up to this certain type of hard drive. And after that, I created a whole new backup system that has my backups in 3 different locations. So if one of them fails, I still have 2 other locations. So yeah, even now as I think about it,
No, okay, let's take it to higher heights now. I'll take it to another place because I used to plan weddings. I don't do that anymore, but I do event planning now.
oh,
But I did have that wonderful, awesome event where the bride hired me and she gave me a blank check. So it was like good thing my how do you say the desires of my heart has slowed down. So I wasn't into spending a lot of money, but definitely creating a quality a piece of work. So she must pretty much said, whatever you want to do, she gave me the green light. Have you had one of those experience or, some heartwarming story you may want to share with some of our listeners?
yeah, sure, sure. I've one of the coolest things that someone has said to me at a wedding was a bride. Her mom came up to me kind of towards the end of the wedding, and she just grabbed me by the hands and just looked at me, and she's like, "I appreciate what you're doing," and she's like, "You're the best photographer I've ever seen," and just kind of went on and on, just kind of complimenting what I was doing and the experience I was giving her family and for her. And I was like, wow, she hasn't even seen my photos, so how can she say that I'm the best photographer she's ever seen? But anyway, that made me, that encouraged me to go, wow, what I'm doing makes a difference. What I'm doing is creating a great moment, and I'm recording these images that, for me, I want to make beautiful work. I want to continue to make business and that stuff. But I think that moment helped me realize that I'm doing something a little bit more than that. I'm bringing families together in a sense, creating great experiences on these super emotional days. I mean, you've done weddings. You know how super emotional they are.
Yes. They are charged.
They're super charged,
And
and,
not
and
necessarily a positive atmosphere either.
yeah, sometimes they're not, but I thrive in that kind of environment. But I think after that, I realized being a photographer isn't just about taking good photos. It's about connecting with people, connecting and making making those moments special. It's not just about having the most expensive gear. It's not about having the best business plan per se, or those things of course matter. But being a good photographer is 5, 6, 7 things instead of just one thing. That's what I used to think when I was younger.
Yeah, because I was going to say, it's so glad that I'm thankful I'm able to do these podcasts because a lot of times when you see the advertisement or hear the reports of, how many photographers or, wedding planners stole someone's money and it was their big event, you're just like, this is not helping us. There are people, there are people that do quality work, and they're not out to steal your money. They are, able to help in situations and circumstances to make your event look that much even greater. They are professionally trained, so we don't come out of this online, generation where it's like, oh, I learned this craft, boom, I can go do it. No, some of us have a love for what we do.
Yeah.
So my thing is to inspire the next generation, after us, because these podcasts will go on beyond us, and even if you had a younger, like your daughter, you have daughters, if she wanted to become a photographer, because I believe a lot of times we are inspired by what we see.
Hmm.
What would you advise her to start with, like day one? We already know you have a love for what you do, but the next moment she's got to get clients.
Yep.
How does she go about it?
Yeah, yeah. Those are things I've definitely thought about. I mean, my daughters are 2 and 7, so they're still pretty young. But even now, my 7-year-old, she shows a great interest in money and saving and buying, and she's this little entrepreneurial spirit, and it's amazing to see that. So for me, I kind of just help her understand the importance of being good with money, not buying stuff we don't need. So kind of having her have that kind of mindset that you don't have to buy all this stuff to be happy. So once that starts to set in, okay, well then let's make money so we can save, so we can give, so we can do cool stuff with it. But as far as if she one day says she wants to be a photographer, that'd be awesome. And I would say the first thing to learn then is sure some of the technical stuff. But if you want to be a business, you got to learn business stuff. You got to learn marketing. You got to learn taking care of your expenses and income. And what just lately I've been learning, and by lately I meaning the last couple of years, is just the importance of having software that can track all your expenses and all that kind of fun stuff that most of the time, honestly, I'm not super excited about. But it makes the business side of it just run smoother, where I know where money's going, I know how much I'm making, how much I'm spending. So I would definitely help her and encourage her to just be really tight with her finances, and so that when she does get that client, she can know how to just track all of those expenses and income, and not if you have to ask her a question about finances, she can answer you. She goes, oh yeah, this is how much I made. And so those are really important things I'm learning, is just the financial aspect of it, just being tight with your finances. And another one would be marketing. We put a lot of emphasis on logos and websites and the visual look and visual appeal of a business or of a brand, but really the most important thing is customer service. You deliver on time, you deliver a quality product time in and time out. That's how you get more clients. You rock it out for one client, you do a great job, they get crazy and about you and talk about you to their next friends, and then that's how I've learned that. That's how I've grown my business. So that's why I would say customer service is absolutely the most important part of running a business.
Awesome. On that note, we're going to take a break, but stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We got a part two that we're going to ask Otto more personal, inspirational aspects about his life. So stay tuned and stick with us.